This is CBC Here and Now.
Guilty as charged. A St. John's cabbie sexually assaulted 2 of his passengers. The race is on to represent this province at the Brier.
It's a unique experience with Brad out of the mix this year. It's everybody's got a shot at this.
The head of the Native Friendship Centre is on a mission.
It's really been my passion to sort of create space for Indigenous people who live in cities.
I'll buckle up. Yet another messy mix on the way, talking about snow, ice pellets, freezing rain, and yes, heavy rain along parts of the south coast. The details are coming up.
Good evening and welcome to Here and Now. I'm Debbie Cooper.
And I'm Anthony Germain, live from Logie Bay Road in St. John's, where the Muslim community here is about to mark a horrible tragedy 1 year after the fact, the Quebec City shooting. Stay tuned for that, but first, back to you, Debbie, with our top stories.
Thanks so much, Anthony. Another chapter in the saga of cab driver Lulzim Jakapej came to a close this afternoon. The former citywide cabbie was found guilty of sexually assaulting 2 women. Here and Now's Ariana Kelland was there.
Do you have anything to say?
Lulzim Jakapej was silent. The man who people knew as Leon, the taxi driver, was led away in handcuffs once again, guilty of 2 counts of sexual assault. His silence in contrast to his bravado at police headquarters after his arrest more than a year ago.
I gotta be honest, it's a serious charge, right? Sexual assault is a serious charge.
It is, but I know I never assaulted nobody.
But police didn't buy it. Neither did Supreme Court Justice Rosalie McGraw. The sexual assaults happened in March 2016. He was found guilty of dragging a 19-year-old woman across her apartment, pressing his forearm against her throat. Aggressively kissing her, Jakapej tried to pull her pants down. A week later, he drove a woman home from downtown St. John's. Before letting her out, Jakapej grabbed her by the neck and shoved his tongue down her throat. Surveillance video showed his movements before the assault. Today, one of those women came to court to hear the verdicts. There was no evidence either woman consented to Jakapej's sexual acts. Guilty on 2 counts. Of course, this isn't Lulzim Jakapej's first time through the court system. He's already serving a federal sentence for an on-the-job break and enter after he followed a female passenger inside a home and killed bride. He'll find out how many more years he'll spend in prison when he's sentenced on February 28th. Ariana Kelland, CBC News, St. John's.
At day 6 of the Ann Norris trial in St. John's, the jurors got to handle the hammer that was used to kill Marcel Reardon 2 years ago. But the defense made it clear to the jury that Norris had a habit of having hammers. Here now's Glenn Payette reports.
The 6 women and 6 men on the jury at the Ann Norris murder trial have seen some very graphic photos of Marcel Reardon's head after Norris killed him with a hammer. That was in September of May 2016. And the jurors might not have expected it, but today, at the request of Crown Prosecutor Ian Hawley, each of them was able to hold the hammer, size it up, and feel its weight. The hammer was in a pliable, transparent evidence bag as it was passed from juror to juror. Most of the jurors held it for about 10 to 15 seconds, looking at it, turning it over. One male juror, sitting here, examined it for about 40 seconds. Hawley didn't say why he wanted the jurors to hold it. All this took place when Forensic Identification Officer Constable Pamela Pike was on the stand. Pike took pictures of that hammer after it was removed from a knapsack that was fished out of St. John's Harbor 2 days after Reardon was killed. She also took pictures of hammers Norris tried to get from a store 4 days after she killed Reardon, and a hammer Norris had put in a knapsack she had left at the Native Friendship Centre a month before the killing. This is Norris taking her purse out of that knapsack and putting the knapsack in a dumpster. Later, she appears to come back looking for it. Defense lawyer Jerome Kendi made sure it was clear to the jury that Norris had a habit of having hammers. 2 staff of the Friendship Center said that Norris had stayed there in late 2015 and came back in January of 2016. And when she did, she was different, aggressive, rude, and refused when asked if she wanted informal mental health counseling. Kennedy pointed out that Norris dumped the backpack at the Friendship Center just days before she went into the Waterford Hospital, and that her stay there lasted until just a few days before she killed Reardon. Glenn Payette, CBC News, St. John's.
Also in Supreme Court this morning, Jason King pleaded guilty to slashing his ex-girlfriend's face at a Dollarama store in Bay Roberts. It happened in March of 2016. An agreed statement of facts says King smashed the victim's phone when he saw her list of contacts. She later confronted him at his workplace at Dollarama and demanded he pay for a replacement phone. And that's when he attacked her with a box-cutting knife, leaving scars on both her cheeks. The statement said King wanted to disfigure her face. King was charged with aggravated assault. A charge of attempted murder was dropped. He will be sentenced on February 7th. There's a state of emergency in the community of Hawley on the west coast tonight. The town has no water and officials don't know why. The problem began last night when an alarm went off at the town's pump house. It indicated water was not coming through an intake pipe from Sandy Lake, the town's water supply. Officials are trying to figure out if there's a leak or a blockage in the pump system. The town says right now there's no fire protection and no drinking water for residents. The state of emergency means people are not allowed to use water for any non-essential purposes. Well, Ryan is here now to talk about the weather, and I've been listening to you earlier today. It sounds like it's going to be a messy commute for tomorrow morning for some of us.
Yeah, that's right. A snowy, turning messy commute as the snow transitions to some ice pellets through that morning commute for the metro region. And it'll take a little longer to transition, but it will still be a snowy commute for you folks in central Newfoundland. We'll start with St. John's. And again, this is the general timeline here. It looks like the snow will begin late this evening, closer to the midnight hour. Snow right through until around 6 a.m. That mixing to ice pellets, then freezing rain through the morning hours. And then it looks like in the early afternoon, temperatures will rise above the freezing mark and we'll get into those showers and drizzle. 10 to 15 centimeters of snow and ice pellets before the mix over to freezing rain. And again, those temperatures rising to 6 degrees by tomorrow evening, even warmer by Wednesday morning. Wind's not going to be a huge issue with this system as far as Newfoundland standards go. Some northeast gusts to 60 or 70. And then some southerly gusts, 70 to 80 kilometers per hour as we roll into the tomorrow night time period. For everybody else, your timeline, again, that snow begins near midnight for St. John's, as I mentioned. Tomorrow morning, it's on the doorstep for central Newfoundland, well underway for the Burin. That ice pellet freezing rain mix advances from southeast to northwest through the day tomorrow. There's 2 p.m. and by the time we get to the late afternoon, that's when we're talking about central Newfoundland, starting to see those ice pellets mix in. The freezing rain through the late evening into the overnight hours, and even some rain for Gander by the time we get to late tomorrow evening. Complete timeline of the next 24 hours or so and beyond coming up in a few minutes. Debbie.
Thank you, Ryan. Well, as Anthony mentioned at the top of our program, today marks 1 year since the terrifying attack on a mosque in Quebec City. Here at home, the Muslim Association of Newfoundland and Labrador is holding a special service in St. John's, and that's where Anthony is right now. Anthony?
There are services like this one that you can see happening behind me being held right across the country, as you mentioned, Debbie, and there's a special feeling here tonight that this is something worth remembering. As you said, it was 1 year ago today that a man entered the ground floor of the Islamic Cultural Center in Quebec City where families had gathered for their evening prayers. 6 men gunned down, shot in the back while they prayed, 19 others seriously wounded, 6 widows, 13 orphans. Now here in Newfoundland and Labrador, that attack struck a nerve, and members of the Muslim community here started to discuss security at the mosque, which they had not done before. At the same time, you might recall Memorial University waived application fees for any students coming from the 7 Muslim countries that had been targeted by then President Trump's ban on certain people. Now, earlier today at Memorial University, there was a ceremony held to mark what happened 1 year ago. And tonight, here at the Masjid En-Noor Mosque, there is a vigil. There's also a gigantic screen set up outside the mosque. There's also a screen inside here. They're going to have a prayer, hear from some dignitaries, and then later tonight, they're going to watch a documentary about that killing 1 year ago today. Debbie?
Thanks, and we will be back to Anthony just a little bit later in our program. Well, negotiations to bring hockey back to Mile 1 in St. John's have hit a roadblock. Two groups, including the organization that owns the Edge basketball team, want to bring hockey to the city. But the basketball group says it disagrees with the way its contract with Mile 1 is being interpreted. So it's going to binding arbitration to settle the dispute. The city says it won't start negotiations with anyone until that arbitration is completed. There's no word on how long that will take.
Very difficult to say. I'm hoping weeks, not months, so we can get up and running again, because there's certainly enthusiasm for a hockey team in the city for even this fall.
An 11-year-old Iraqi boy impressed the judges at a spelling bee in St. John's recently. He placed 4th in a school competition. Placing 4th might not seem like a big deal, but it is if you're a refugee who barely spoke English just 2 years ago. Chris O'Neill Yates has our story.
All right, let's try commendable.
Commendable. C-O-M-M-E-N-D-A-B-L-E.
This may not be most kids' idea of a good time, but when you meet 6th grader Marios Albazi, it becomes clear he's not like most kids.
This year, I was like, Peter, the spelling bee is coming. I want to do it.
Oh, Frank's giving you
Peter
kisses?
Jackson was one of a group of about 20 people who sponsored Marios, his 13-year-old brother Yolios, and their mom Susan to come to Canada.
It was sort of like, I don't know these people, so oh my God.
I just thought I was just kind of going to help some family and then kind of move on.
But then Jackson stepped in at a moment of crisis.
Susan got quite sick and was in the hospital. That was when really we got to spend some time together, wasn't it? When I slept over at your house and was sending you off to school.
Jackson began taking Marios and his brother on outdoor activities. They started coming over to his house to make food, like their favorite, nachos. Trips to Jackson's cottage in an outport an hour's drive from St. John's have become a highlight. Marios has even learned how to use power tools.
We're doing a big renovation, but then he also started using a lot of the leftover materials, and he's building his own little house, and we're going to put it up on the hill.
Yeah.
And all the while, they were building something more.
He is my dad.
I always wanted kids and was never fortunate enough to have any. It was kind of a vacancy, one would say, and you know, when we sponsored a family, you know, I didn't know it was going to be a single mom and 2 boys.
Susan is learning English too. Life is good here, she says.
Canada, very good, beautiful, children happy here.
Marios is looking forward to the next spelling bee. Without Jackson's gentle encouragement, he says he could never have gotten this far.
I don't think I would have been a very good speller. Like, nobody would really want to be spending their time just teaching a kid how to spell, but he really wanted to.
What are your dreams for him, Peter?
Oh my God, well, he seems to be one of those kids that can just do whatever he wants. I have no idea what he's going to do for his living when he's older.
I want to be a movie star.
And why not? When you consider how these boys escaped conflict and came to Newfoundland to meet their new dad, Marios has every reason to believe that anything is possible. Chris O'Neill Yates, CBC News, St. John's.
Well, Newfoundland and Labrador is off to a strong start at the Scotties Tournament of Hearts. Stacey Curtis and her curling team of Erin Porter, Julie Devereaux and Erica Trickett are 3-0 heading into this evening's game against Alberta. The competition is in Penticton, BC, and that game gets underway in just a few minutes at 6:30. We'll keep you posted. Well, over to men's curling now, where it's a week that some players have waited a lifetime for. The Tankard Provincial Championship begins tonight, and for the first time in a very long time, Team Guju will not be on the ice. Here now, Zach Audi is at the St. John's Curling Club and joins us live. Zach, what does it mean to have Team Guju out of the mix?
Well, it means a huge opportunity for every other competitive men's curling team in the province. Team Gushue has won this tournament for the last 15 years straight, with just one exception. That was the year they were busy winning Olympic gold. But this year, because they are the reigning Canadian champions, Team Gushue have an automatic bye into the next National Curling Championship, where they will wear the Team Canada jerseys, meaning the chance to be Team Newfoundland and Labrador is wide open for the first time in a long time. That rare chance has sent the local men's curling scene into overdrive this year. There are 9 teams competing here at the Tankard, the most in many years. Some of the older players in this tournament have actually won the Tankard before. Some have even been to the Brier. And the younger players, well, they've never been anywhere close to a Brier, because for their whole careers there's been Big Bad Brad Gushue standing in their way. So with all of that drama, it's going to be a really exciting week here at the St. John's Curling Club. It all gets started tonight, and this afternoon I dropped in on the last team practice to see how those players are handling the pressure.
Brier's been a dream for pretty much everybody in this place, so it's a real chance to get there. So we've been non-stop all year.
There's a lot riding on the outcome for one of these teams here, so it's really about trying to isolate the outcome from just the process and the focus that you need to come to the rink with to do game by game, because the stakes are raised.
It's a unique experience with Brad out of the mix this year. It's everybody's got a shot at this. And you can see it already. It's only practice, and all the teams are down here watching every piece of ice, watching how fast the rocks are going, everything. So it's, we're all kind of taking it up from a 10 to an 11 at this point.
Yeah, it's a full engagement by all teams, and it's all about trying to get the ice figured out as fast as you can, because it's a lot different conditions than what you play on through the course of the year. The ice gets prepped specifically for this event. There's no other games in between, so it's like recognizing that everyone's here, everyone's ready for it, and just getting things figured out as fast as you can and go execute.
For many years we've been butting heads with Brad Gushue, and you kind of feel like the big-time underdog, and this week anybody can win.
I actually left Newfoundland in '97 for career and family reasons. Was fortunate to go to a couple of Briers just before leaving, and so it's nice to return to the scene of the crime. Landscape's a little different, a lot of young teams, very talented, very hungry, so I think it's going to come down to a mix of experience versus determination, and it should be a really interesting dogfight.
What's really awesome is this year, I don't know if you can get your cameras out there, but we hung up all the banners of all the previous Tankard champions, got our names on them all, and I catch the young guys out there all the time kind of looking up, right, and wondering what it would be like, right? So, but don't count out us old guys yet either, right? So.
There it is, Ken Pettigrew's banner from 2006, the last Tankard banner that doesn't say Team Gushue, but at the end of this week, there will be one more. Now, the action gets started this evening. There are afternoon and evening games every night this week. Come on and check it out if you're in the area, and if you get here early, have a look at this. For the first time, they have installed an on-ice viewing platform here at the St. John's Curling Club, so you can really watch the action up close. Just dress a little more warmly than I am now, and trust me, the view will be worth it. Reporting live at the St. John's Curling Club, I'm Zach Gowdy for Here and Now.
Local Muslims remember the 6 men who died in a Quebec City mosque shooting 1 year ago today.
welcome back to Here and Now. I am at the mosque, as I've said earlier, in Here and Now on Logie Bay Road. A busy place tonight as the Muslim community gets set to mark 1 year since the shooting in Quebec City. I have two members of the Muslim community with me to get their thoughts tonight. And perhaps I'll start with you, Mansour. You've been on Here and Now before. What are you thinking on a night like this?
Well, we are thinking that how, the tragedy which happened almost a year ago, that was a tragedy which basically shook the entire nation. And now it's 1 year has gone by, and I do feel that it's time to move on, and I do feel that we have to learn some lessons from what happened, and we have been trying to do that. Our community has been trying to do that, and we have been really working hard how to teach the community, not only our community but community around us, right. And not only that, how to teach the children, the school children, and we have been having visits from school children, and we have been teaching them, educating them that we have to live together and how we can move on.
With 6 people that were killed and 19 injured, some very seriously, it shook the confidence of a lot of Muslims in Canada. What was the effect here? Because you actually changed security after this, right?
Indeed, we did. We have changed quite a few things, and that's but natural. Because you see, when you are going through such traumatic times, we have to satisfy and give confidence to our own community that yes, this happened, but never again in Canada this will happen. And that's all. And we'll do everything. But only thing is, sometimes we have to leave few things on guard, and hope that everything is okay.
I'd like to bring Hala into this discussion. Why was it important for you to be here tonight?
We're here to think of the victims and also to reflect on the tragedy, why it happened, what caused it, and how we can prevent it in the future, and how we as Canadians can come together to fight any kind of hatred, not just Islamophobia.
Now, people in Quebec City were particularly shocked because it happened right in their backyard. People couldn't believe that it happened. What was your reaction when you found out about this shooting against people of the same faith as you in your country?
Yeah, it was a shock at first, and it was really sad because you don't usually think of shootings happening in Canada. Usually you think that happens south of the border. So for it to happen in Canada and to happen to the Muslim community, it just really shook the Muslim community.
And the incident itself, as a last question for you, Mansour, it didn't exactly open up a tidal wave of anti-Muslim feeling in Newfoundland. I mean, most Muslims that we spoke to said they still felt comfortable in this province.
Well, I mean, obviously Newfoundland is the most, I would say, sacred place and blessed place, and we feel proud to be Newfoundlanders. And you saw the outpouring of support immediately after this incident, how the people came around and the walk for solidarity, and they stood around all over mosque, around our mosque. So obviously, Newfoundland is one of the unique places, and then Canada itself is one of the places where these things are unheard of.
I know the vigil's about to start, so I want to thank you both for your time. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Hala.
Thanks.
All right. That's it for now. I'll talk to you again later once the vigil starts.
We were playing Xbox and laughing like we normally do, just 5 days before it happened, but obviously he wasn't fine.
Mun Seahawks star Jacob Renton took his own life. Now family and friends want more frank talk on campus about suicide.
Weather forecast has been brought to you by Newfoundland and Labrador Tourism. 5,000 kilometers of groomed trails are waiting to be explored. Embrace winter today.
Welcome back to Here and Now once again.
So I understand you were out and about today?
I was. You get to go to all these school visits. Well, I was out this morning. Had the pleasure of reading to the grade 3 class at St. Andrew's Elementary. And I have a picture of Ms. Heather Davis's students. They're all her great, interesting, inquisitive students there. We got to read together, and then Ryan, we had a whole lot of time to talk about world travel. Many of these students are from various parts of the world. There's Syria, Bangladesh, where was the other? Sudan, that's just to name a few. So I learned a lot from them.
Nice.
Yeah, it was a great morning. Thank you.
Nice. Always great to get out. Did you get asked about whether tomorrow's going to be a snow day or not?
We didn't talk about the weather.
See, you don't get that. Everywhere I go, is it going to be a snow day tomorrow? And speaking of that, I think there's a chance at least that we have some delayed openings in the east where, let's break it down region by region. Now, I know there's a lot going on in this map, but find where you live and then find the color that matches that text. You can see the text box there for the Avalon in pink. That's where we'll see snow and ice pellets of 10 to 15 centimeters and then rainfall of 10 to as much as 30 millimeters by the time we get through Wednesday. Now, for the Burin Peninsula and Conegra, this is the area we're most concerned about the rain and the heavy rain. 40 to as much as 80 millimeters through tomorrow night in through Wednesday. Rainfall warnings are in effect there. Now, for the Bonavista Peninsula, Clarenville, and Terra Nova, 15 to 25 centimeters, 10 to as much as 30 millimeters, and that stretches down towards the southwest coast. This appears to be the bullseye, central towards the north coast, of 20 to 30 centimeters of snow and ice pellets. Could see some ice pellets mixing in along the west coast as well, 15 to 25 centimeters here by the time we get to Wednesday, through Wednesday, and that extends up into southeastern parts of Labrador as well, but amounts drop off quickly as we work our way towards, say, Happy Valley Goose Bay. Rainfall warnings are in effect for the south coast. Again, it's Conegra and the Burin peninsulas that are most prone, it appears here, to see the 50-plus millimeter range in terms of rainfall, as high as 70 or 80 millimeters by Wednesday, just based on the track of this system. Snowfall warnings are in effect for much of the interior parts of the island, with special weather statements for the west coast and the Avalon. The snow, well, it's right on the edge of the Avalon right now, and this system is still well back to the southwest, and it appears that it will just sail over the Grand Banks. Not so much with this track. Snow begins through this evening. Midnight is about the hour for St. John's, and you can see as that warm air starts to push in, by tomorrow morning, already starting to see some of those ice pellets tap, 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 tap on the window. You know the sound, and you'll start to hear that again from south to north as we work throughout the morning. The commute by bus time, by the time they're making the call, this is basically what we'll be looking at. So the snow will be really coming down at a pretty good clip through St. John's. Watch your timeline here as we work throughout the morning. Those ice pellets start to mix in more and more. Freezing rain potential through the lunchtime hour into the afternoon as winds shift to south. 6-7 degrees on the menu. Winds in from the south, -1 to -2 by the end of the day in Clarenville, Bonavista with those ice pellets. The Burin will have already transitioned over to rain as well. Now, central parts of Newfoundland, snow, if not started by 7, will be on the doorstep. Really ramps up into the lunchtime hour and into the afternoon. By the end of the day, mixing likely ice pellets for Terra Nova. Even some freezing rain likely underway in Harbour Breton now. Through tomorrow morning, the snow again from south to north into the Corner Brook region, really ramping up around lunchtime. Some ice pellets not out of the question late tomorrow afternoon, but more so a Tuesday night story for that mixing of ice pellets there. Now for the Northern Peninsula, we're talking about the snow arriving late day. Really a pretty quiet one, especially up towards Cartwright, Mary's Harbour, a few late day flurries, and it's very quiet tomorrow in most of Labrador. Some sunshine, some high clouds approaching, winds light, but certainly a cold one. We'll break down your Tuesday night, Wednesday, and beyond and how this all plays out in a few minutes. Debbie?
Thanks, Ryan, I think. Well, last week in Grand Bank, the provincial government announced more money would be put towards suicide prevention planning. Despite more public awareness about mental health and suicide, there's still a stigma attached to the topic.
people don't talk about it. There's a whole group of people out there who get worried, they get fretful, and they get into this spiral where they can't see anything but their own unhappiness. And because they don't reach out to people, they feel stigmatized by doing that. They prevent opportunities for helping them. So if we can break down that barrier where mental health and suicide simply becomes like a chest infection or a broken leg, where people are quite happy to talk about it, you've made a huge change and reduced the risk to people with depression, for example.
That was likely the case for a young rising basketball star named Jacob Renton. No one knew he needed help. No one saw him slipping off the edge. Not his family, his friends, his teammates. But as Here Now's Andrew Sampson reports, those left behind are trying to turn their pain into hope for others who are suffering like Jacob did.
He was one of those guys that I think hid behind his smile. There was obviously some stuff going on inside of his head that either he was afraid to share or didn't want to share.
We were obviously blindsided.
I drove him to the airport 5 days before everything happened, and he seemed fine to me. You know, we were playing Xbox and laughing like we normally do, just 5 days before it happened, but obviously he wasn't fine.
Jacob Branton was a rising basketball star for the Mun Seahawks. While home in Ontario between semesters, just 2 days before Christmas in 2014, he killed himself. Now, 3 years later, his parents don't want others to suffer like he did, and like they are now suffering. So they're speaking up about suicide without reservation.
The one thing that we tell people is that Jacob died of a life-threatening illness. Whether it's cancer or heart disease, etc., mental illness is a disease as well, and it can be life-threatening. And if it's not treated, if people don't get help, then it can be dangerous.
Renton came to Mun in 2013 as a fresh talent with a strong future on and off the court.
We were at first upset to see him go out east because it was so far away from us, and we hadn't really missed a game of basketball that he'd played in his entire life. So that piece was difficult, but he visited out there and kind of fell in love with it.
He was a great guy. He was someone that always cared about other people, you know, almost more than himself. Always made people feel good. I always say that instead of looking down on people, he always brought people up. So yeah, just a very caring, loving guy.
Jacob fell in love with it too, at least from the outside looking in. A developing star on the court, off of it he was struggling. His grades slipped, he skipped classes, and he didn't even write his final exams, something his parents only found out when it was too late.
I think the hard part for us and his brother and his very close friends is that we were all just right here, and he wasn't able to open up to us about what was going on.
University can be stressful, and advocates say acknowledging that is an important first step to get people talking about mental health.
It's not only the stress the students put on themselves, by their parents, to get good marks. Is there going to be a job? When I've borrowed all this money, have to pay student loans back, what's going to happen? You know, there's a lot of stresses.
Another key step, more frank and open discussion about suicide right here on campus. But that's easier said than done. Disclosing student suicides is still very rare because many families choose to keep these deaths private.
If we could say that it was, then we could openly talk in that moment about all the resources that are available for anybody that's you know, having thoughts about suicide or is feeling particularly triggered by this event.
Typically, Mun sends out emails announcing a student's sudden death without specifying the cause.
It seems to be the spelling for suicide, you know. It's not S-U-I-C-I-D-E, it's S-U-D-D-E-N-D-E-A-T-H.
If the university could openly discuss a suicide when it occurs, Cornish thinks it would be better for other students.
We could take it as an opportunity to dispel a lot of myths about suicide.
That's what Jacob's former teammate Noel Moffat is doing. He's never lost sight of his old friend, and his basketball shoes are a constant reminder.
Make sure that you're conscious of, because you know, mental illness is not something that you see like you'd see a physical injury like a broken arm. So you just gotta, you know, just be extra careful, making sure people are okay, even if they seem okay. Just kind of going out of your way to making that extra effort to ask.
The Rennons are doing that back home in Waterloo, where they host an annual memorial basketball tournament in their son's name. They speak directly to athletes, telling them that it is okay to be vulnerable, to ask for help.
Breaking down that stigma is so important, that we have to dialogue, we have to communicate, we have to talk about it, we can't hide it.
Andrew Sampson, CBC News, St. John's.
1, 2, 3, go!
Why the St. John's Native Friendship Centre needs more room to grow. He has roughly 50 employees working for him in St. John's and a national profile. But there is a solid chance viewers who are not Indigenous have never heard of Christopher Shepherd. As Ramona Deering reports, that will probably change because he's got big plans.
This is part of what the St. John's Native Friendship Centre does, run this childcare facility in the east end of St. John's. There are 30 kids on the wait list, their parents hoping they can get a space here to learn Indigenous songs and customs, to learn the importance of hunting to the culture, and to take part in smudging ceremonies, the lighting of sweetgrass, sage, and cedar for purification, the customary tobacco left out to protect growing lungs. The idea is to make sure traditions keep getting passed down, even in the big city.
That's one of the things I find when you're in an urban center is that you have to work harder.
Growing up in Postville, Labrador, Christopher Shepherd's culture was part of his day-to-day life.
When your grandfather shows up on his 12 horsepower snowmobile on the weekends to drag you and your siblings and cousins to the cabin at the head of the bay, it was really just a part of being Inuit in Labrador.
Now he's Inuit in St. John's. He's 32, already the president of the National Association of Friendship Centres and the executive director of the St. John's Native Friendship Centre on the west end of Water Street. Behind these doors, there's a shelter for people who've traveled in for medical treatment or who are homeless. The 20 beds are almost always full. Shepherd says the whole building is squeezed for space. He's looking for a new home for the center. With a gymnasium, for one thing, a place where a lot of people can gather comfortably, and more room to move around outside. Shepherd says it's important to have a sweat lodge on the property. But these pictures from Aboriginal Day highlight one of the problems. There's just not enough space.
We talk about Indigenous people who live in their home communities and they live in Labrador, and I always say it's a romanticized version of Indigenous people, is that we're in the north only.
In fact, the latest census shows that more than 6,500 people in Metro St. John's identify as being Aboriginal. Shepherd wants the new centre to have more presence than the current home, whether it's new construction or the renovation of an existing building.
When you think of St. John's, you don't see a huge visible property or any really area of the city that sort of shows the Indigenous reality of this province, and for a capital city that's quite shocking.
No site has been picked for a Friendship Centre yet. Shepherd hopes to get federal infrastructure money to pay for it.
So what time is the catering tonight?
And he's developing a plan for covering operating costs. More social enterprises like this one. On the menu for the catering company on this day, meatballs made from elk because caribou is so scarce. And partridge berry barbecue sauce to go with them. Plus, cook Vic Allen is planning a unique dessert.
These will be Labrador tea tarts. The cream will be infused with Labrador tea.
Shepherd believes getting more businesses on the go could cover the costs of running a bigger, better Friendship Centre and its many programs.
It's really been my passion to create space for Indigenous people who live in cities.
A new Friendship Centre would mean some additional childcare space. The cost for the whole thing could be up to $5 million. Shepherd would welcome offers to donate land. It's still early days, but he's hoping work will start as early as next year. Ramona Deering, CBC News, St. John's.
Here at the Masjid Al-Noor Mosque in St. John's, I'll have live coverage after the break.
Welcome back, everyone. Here's our young athlete of the day. This is Jillian Slaney of St. Lawrence. Jillian is 6 and is a member of the Marystown Mariners Hockey Club in the Timbit division.
She loves playing hockey and drives, loves hockey and the drives every Saturday morning to participate. Jillian also plays softball and soccer.
She must love playing to drive an hour all the way like that. Congratulations, Jillian. You're our young athlete of the day. Well, drivers in St. John's take note. Starting early tomorrow morning, motorists won't be able to leave their vehicles along parts of Water and Duckworth Street. The City of St. John's is testing out a new parking ban to help with snow clearing, meaning no one can park in the core of downtown from 3:30 to 6:30 a.m. until April. And those who break the rules will be towed at a cost of $250. Here now's Jeremy Eaton brings us that story.
There's going to be a parking ban implemented for downtown from 3:30 a.m. to 6:30 a.m. every morning. We're trying it in one section, which causes the city a lot of trouble and has caused a lot of issue to the residents down here. And that's pretty much from the end of Duckworth Street down here to City Hall, to Majestic really. And then the same thing is right up until from Water Street, from the Convention Centre, right on up to, say, the Revenue Canada building.
Well, I mean, to me, it appears as though the City of St. John's is putting snow clearing above resident safety. I mean, it doesn't take someone to know that impaired driving is going to increase because of this. And not only that, like the safety for people who are working in the entertainment district down here, those who are working at bars late hours at night, I mean, it just doesn't make sense.
But mainly, we've gotten good response. A lot of the people downtown have been waiting for this for some time, especially store owners, restaurant owners, people like that that actually live and work in the downtown core. So we're getting a lot of support from them, but we're also getting some concerns from different sections, we'll say. And we also believe that responsible people will not drink and drive. And we right now, Newfoundland has the highest number of drunk drivers. So we're really hoping that this may actually help that. We don't want anybody to get towed. We want people to create good habits and leave their cars not in this section. So we don't want anyone to get towed. So we're trying to get the word out as best we can. We as the city, we've got signs up, and we also have these brochures that we're putting on cars. So anyone that's in the habit of leaving the car downtown, well, we're going to leave this in their windshield so they know when they come out. It's a nice bright sticker, yellow. It tells them where they can park. It tells them why we're doing it.
I have left my car parked on both Water Street and Duckworth Street numerous times. And I mean, I wouldn't drink and drive, but I'm concerned for someone who A, doesn't want to pay for parking, or B, doesn't realize the parking options that are down here in the downtown core. I mean, just looking around here, I mean, there's no snow here right now. It doesn't make sense. To me, it would make sense after a big snowfall. I mean, put the parking ban in place there for 2 to 3 days, but I mean, just there's no snow around us now. It doesn't make sense.
The weather update is brought to you by Belltone Hearing Service St. John's, helping the world hear better.
No snow downtown, but there will be.
That's right. By tomorrow morning, certainly waking up to a snowy start thanks to that system there, which is still well to the south, but the snow already showing up on the radar just offshore from the Avalon, and it will back in as we roll through tonight, beginning around midnight in St. John's. The warm front pushes in from southeast to northwest through the day, and that's where the warm air comes in as well. That's where we go from the snow to ice pellets to freezing rain, then over to rain and drizzle for the Avalon, the Burin, and that heaviest rain again will be along that south coast by the end of the day, -4 to -5 through central. Even some ice pellets mixing in tomorrow night through Corner Brook. Labrador, pretty quiet tomorrow, just getting into some light snow by the end of the day in the southeast, and that snow will then ramp up for you folks in Labrador Tuesday night in through Wednesday. Most of the island into the warm sector with this system, which means a change over to some rain, but again, the heaviest amounts will be in the south and east. That low will then roll off to the north through the day on Wednesday. Snow will taper off, but not before we see upwards of 15 centimeters or more, even for the southeast. Note the temperatures very mild Wednesday morning, starting in the high single digits here in the east. Temperatures will fall as we roll throughout the day. Again, quick look at this map. I have this posted. You can check it out on my blog, cbc.ca/Ryan Snoddon, as well as my Facebook page. Again, the Coles notes there, the heaviest rainfall amounts in the south, the heaviest snowfall amounts central towards the north coast, and also towards western parts of Newfoundland. Quick look as we roll over the next couple of days. Do want to give you the heads up on this. How about this? Another warm-up projected as we roll into the Friday time period. Snow in Labrador, but it looks like a snow to rain mix. Back to snow on the island Friday into Saturday. And the long-range forecast model is actually showing a potential warm-up again in the east anyway for Sunday into Monday. So that's the forecast right now. Winter, when it does come in, it can't stick around as the warm air keeps pushing back, and that appears to be the case as the roller coaster ride continues, especially in the east over the next 7. Central western Newfoundland at least may stay snow with that weekend system. We will keep you posted, that Sunday into Monday system that is. And there is the outlook for Labrador, much quieter, though some snow potential for Friday and into Saturday, Debbie.
Ryan, well, Muslims have gathered at the mosque in St. John's for a very special vigil tonight. That's where Anthony has been, and he's rejoining us. Anthony?
Yes, Alan Hawkins is bringing wishes on behalf of Premier Dwight Ball, who couldn't be here at this event tonight. Dignitaries have spoken, but this event is really about members of the Muslim community like Aisha, who's been on here now before. Hello.
Hello, Anthony. Thank you for coming.
What does a night like this mean to you?
Well, of course, the tragic incident of last year was a great shock to Muslim communities across Canada, including our own community here in St. John's, Newfoundland and Labrador. It led to a great sense of sadness, vulnerability and fear. But the subsequent outpouring of support from all Canadians, from all walks of life, led to a sense of relief. And gathering today confirms that outpouring support continues, and it means a lot to us.
I noticed at one point during the ceremony I was watching, and you were getting fairly emotional. May I ask you what you were thinking?
Well, it's an emotional moment for us. I feel like my own family relatives passed away last year. So for me, on a very emotional, on a human level, you know, it's like remembering my own beloved ones passed away on a cruel attack.
Right. The discussion, last question for the discussion with the Muslim community, the Muslims who are here today, what sorts of things are people saying? Is it time to get over this, try to heal? How do we move on?
Yes, the healing is an ongoing process, and it will continue for another while, I guess. What the key here is how we are going to continue, the process of reflecting on how we can prevent such things from happening again.
Aisha, thank you very much for your time. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
All right, the vigil is going to continue here, and I want to keep my voice down, so back to you, Debbie.
Thank you so much, Anthony. It was good to be able to see what is happening there this evening. Thank you.
All right, quick look at that 6 a.m. timeline there for you as we keep an eye on that system coming in, and certainly the rinks are going to be getting a little coating of snow by tomorrow morning, and then of course the icing after that. But a beautiful picture of the day, and we'll share more of this after the break.
Well, some interesting video to show you. It's a pod of orcas having a whale of a time off BC's Sunshine Coast. And as that person said, that is pretty cool. The killer whale's headed in shallow water for a belly rub on the pebbly shoreline. The water's only a few meters deep there and just a few meters away from the shore too, so people could really get up close to that thrilling display, which went on for about 45 minutes. Never gets old seeing whales like that.
It makes me long for summer, though. Certainly a sight that we see in this neck of the woods quite a bit. Hockey night in Newfoundland, courtesy of Kelly Russell-Druken. I believe this picture was taken in the St. John's metro region. She didn't specify, but I thought a great one that she was sharing, just saying, enjoying the winter.
Absolutely, and what a way to enjoy it. Nobody's got a Leafs jersey on, though.
I know. I did notice that, but there's some blue jerseys, so we'll give them a pass.
Team Canada there, too. Thanks very much for the photo, Kelly. Thanks to you for watching, everyone. Have a great night. See you tomorrow.
Good night.